I designed the fantasy cover for Abigail made her first book. Okay, so some backstory in case you didn't see the unboxing. About a couple months ago, sometime last year, on Threads, I was looking for people who needed their book cover designed, and I was planning on making 10 for free. I did one because I got crazy busy. Abby didn't actually see my posts. It was that Threads, the algorithm doing its magic, sent her post to my feed where she was asking, I think she was asking what people use to put their book covers together. I think that's what she was asking, because she was going to try to do it herself, I believe. So I let her know that I use Procreate to draw all my images and then put it together using Affinity Publisher. But I also responded letting her know that I was offering free book cover designs for a limited time, and she was happy to accept. We started emailing each other. So first I kind of got together just a little bit of information about her book, the genre, what kind of look she was going for, and then based off her plot description and the genre, I sent her some existing book covers, not my designs, but existing traditionally published books that I kind of thought would fit with her book aesthetically, and she loved them. So then it was time to go ahead and start. The first thing I did was the easy part, drawing the title. I always go through the list of fonts that I have purchased licenses for or are free for professional use as well, and I went through a few dozen and found one that I thought fit that fantasy look, but I did alter some of the letters of it, just added some more like curls, flattened a few ends, and then to fit those existing references I made it metallic, settling on silver since her book was the Crystal Dynasty. I thought that cool tones would be more appropriate, so silver over gold. And once I had that all kind of finalized, I sent it to her just to get an update on how she was feeling about everything. That's something I did throughout the whole process, is email her every step of the way just to make sure that we had something she was going to be happy with. You know, I didn't want to go through all the work and then find out I messed up, but she was very happy with it. And then it was time for the crystal itself, and she had told me she wanted the crystal on the front cover since this is the main conflict, well, goal of the story, I guess maybe would be the right. And she'd kind of explained that it's 4 crystals and that they're searching for all the pieces for power. So I started by looking at a bunch of references. I wanted to get the shape set first. So I drew the crystal in 2 different ways. I used quartz crystals as my main reference since I imagined that they would look like they're more something that can be found in nature. You know, it's a little more rustic. So I drew one that was like 4 crystal shards all attached to each other, and the other one was just one big crystal that had been broken apart into pieces. So I sent her just the outline, and both as one piece and as 4 separate pieces, and asked her which one fit her vision more, and or if neither of them did, which one was closer. So once we had that, then it was time to try to draw the crystals both as a whole and separate pieces. I started by drawing them separately because it helped really get the shadows right, and this is where I had a hard time because at first I was trying to draw it without any references, and that was a disaster. It just kept coming out weird and inconsistent. So I found some more references, one that looked more kind of cartoony just to start with, so that I can really get those shadows and lights right. And a professional is probably looking at it and saying that everything is so off about the angles, but I don't know what I'm doing with that stuff. You know, I never took an art class, so it's kind of all shadows has always been something I had a hard time with. And once I had the look kind of clean, I started adding just a bunch of like different light effects, and I layered on this one. I found this stock photo that looked like it was the side of like a diamond wall. The free stock photo, so I downloaded it. I believe it was overlaid, but one of the settings in Procreate over the image to really make it shine and make it more magical. So obviously the quartz crystal is very like foggy, so I went through a few edits, you know, a few different versions, and then I sent them all to her, to Abigail, so that she can see if one was more pleasing to her, and she picked the last one, the fourth one of the images. So now that we had our crystal, the final thing was the background. I put together a few mock images of different types of backdrops until we found one she liked. I was trying to figure out if we wanted just like a dark image or light or a cloudy look, or if she wanted a pattern to make it more like elegant, but the nebula background was the final choice. The next part that I really got excited about making was I got this idea to have a border that made you think of crystal shards or glass shards. I looked up some geometric backgrounds and saw this one that kind of fit what I was looking for. I started drawing just random triangles, just a bunch of different shapes all next to each other but not really connected, and then I started coloring them. Some white, some light gray, some a little darker, just all randomly placed. And then I applied an effect to them to make them transparent over the background and really bright, just a luminous effect. Once the images were set, then it was time to just put it all together. She sent me her plot description. She decided she didn't want an author photo, but luckily the book still looks great even with that space. I use Affinity Publisher to actually put it together, and the reason is because some websites need specific formats. For Barnes & Noble, it needed a PDF. The reason why the program is important is because it has to be under a CMYK color palette. CMYK, it stands for cyan, magenta, yellow, and key, which is black. Printers use that, and it's very different from the RGB color palette, which is on a lot of programs. I use a program that way the colors do come out the way they're kind of looking on the screen, and that there's no problems with uploading it onto the program. This is the part where we had a little bit of a break between the final design and the final files, because she was finished with her first draft, but she had an editor working on it, and then after that she needed to work on her final draft, which means the page count changed and therefore the cover size changed. The important thing if you're designing your own cover or hiring someone is they need to know the exact size, and not just the size but the appropriate border space so that none of your images are cut off. And the only way to get an accurate thing for that is to use, and all the self-publishing websites have them, is their template generator. So she sent me that, and therefore I'm able to see the gutter space and where to avoid putting text, where the images should fall, what would be the center of the cover and the center of the back cover and the spine. That way there's no issues, and even then it's still necessary to order a preview. Luckily there were no issues thanks to that generator. So this is the final book. Crystal in the front, lovely shard border, name of the author. The spine luckily ended up coming out legible. I don't know if it's focusing. There you go. Luckily you can read it, because I was a little worried the images would be too blurry. That back cover, that's the other part of the other reason that templates is important, is because it leaves a space for the barcode, even though you don't have to include that in your book cover because they're going to place it. It was important I made sure that there was nothing there so that the barcode didn't cover it. Of course I have to put my signature, so normally this is purple. This is the logo for my design company, one of the DBAs under my company, and that's where I sell a lot of digital art and print content. Normally it's purple, but I changed it to blue just so it wouldn't stand out. I have her cover files still on my computer, all separately, background, logo, title, for the future. because I do plan on designing her future book covers. She says she wants the future ones to have the same look, just still have different colors and possibly a different main image. So when we get to that, it will be exciting. Check out her book if you want to read it. It's The Crystal Dynasty, Kingdom Divided, once again by Abigail Mader, and it's out now. I'm looking forward to reading it sometime this year. I'd say next month, within this month, but my schedule is unreliable at this point. I changed my mind about starting to design covers through a freelance website just because I have no time for clients, but I am still designing book covers. The only difference is I'm designing pre-made covers. So if you're interested in those, I have a total of 4, soon to be 5 out right now. And the way these work is that you can either purchase just the ebook image or the file formats. The ebook cover alone is $40, and that's to, compensate me for all the design work, and plus I won't be reselling these. So it's a one-time purchase and no one else will receive this image. If you want the print files, it's an additional $50, and that includes paperback, hardcover, and dust jacket. If you want the print files and some advertising photos, that is $70 together. The reason why it's more to get the actual print files is this involves a lot more formatting and getting a lot more information from you. So whatever cover you purchase, let's say you just get the ebook, which is front cover image only, then I would need your title, your series name if there is one, and then your name, the author name. I would offer some customization. I can't redo the whole thing. But if, let's say, you want the epic fantasy cover, the one with the sword, but the sword, it fits more for your book 2 or 3, but you want that design for the future, so you want something else for the first book. I'm very willing to change that main design image. The way this works is when you want your book 2 designed, then I will have the files available still, and you would contact me through email or through Etsy and we could talk details. I don't have prices yet for what that would be like. I would be fair, I promise. I always keep my prices as low as I can. Pre-made covers are a more inexpensive option for those who don't feel like they can design a cover they're happy with, but would like a more professional looking cover. And the kind of minimal customization is what keeps those prices low, because if you hire a professional, it can be very expensive. It can be anywhere between $300 and $3,000 depending on the artist. Once you buy one of these covers, it is 100% yours. I won't be selling it to anyone else, and I assure that all the covers are 100% original designs. Check out the book. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye!